Maze Runner is an action mystery sci-fi thriller movie that was released on September 19th, 2014, and is based on a novel by James Dashner. This review was requested by one of my coworkers, and I have never seen it until now. I have to say, I was surprised by it. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it was amazing, but I actually found myself enjoying it more than I thought. We're going to start with the story. The story follows a teen who gets thrown into a forest area with other teen boys. He lost his memory and doesn't even remember his name until later. His name is Thomas. Thomas finds out that there's an opening that leads to an enclosed forest area and is told not to go in it. He breaks the rules and goes in, only to find a haven of alien bug-like creatures and a huge maze. But Thomas is convinced that there is a way out. Overall, this story is actually not that bad. I will say though, I was expecting it to be a pretty fucking cringy young adult movie that is very reminiscent of the Hunger Games. And it kind of starts out that way. For the record, I didn't care for the first Hunger Games movie, or the second one really. But I will say, the dialogue is a bit better than that movie, and it actually goes in a direction that is honestly kind of brilliant. I guess what I like about it is that it starts out like a jungle adventure, but gradually gets closer to the sci-fi elements that are foreshadowed in the beginning. I know a lot of people don't like the amnesia cliche, but personally I don't really mind it. Amnesia has a lot of potential for great and dramatic storytelling. I don't think I've ever seen it poorly implemented. Maybe it's because I'm not a fucking nitpicky internet dickhead most of the time. And this movie is no exception. In fact, it is actually integral to the story for reasons that I will get into later. I thought that the characters were pretty decent. Thomas and Teresa are not the greatest characters, but they are not bad. Chuck was a character that I thought would be pretty fucking annoying, but he's actually pretty tolerable, and I ended up sympathizing with him a lot. Though, part of it may be because of the fact that this movie has very little, if any, humor in it. This movie takes its fantastical plot very seriously, which it probably should given what happens later. Mino is probably my favorite character. He's a fucking tough guy, and is very supportive of Thomas when he goes through the maze. He is the one who actually puts in the effort to map out the maze. Galdi is probably the strongest written character in the movie though. He is very much a morally gray character. He wants the group of boys to follow the rules they've established. He doesn't want anyone to break them under any circumstances. Sure, he can be pretty fucking harsh toward them and very cruel actually to people who break them, but at the same time you can understand why he made these rules. It is because he wants to protect the boys and doesn't want to lose any more of them. Okay, I've put this off for too long, but I really can't talk about this movie without spoiling anything. So if you really want to see it, skip to the timestamp in the description. Galdi suspects Thomas might be behind the whole operation that wiped the boy's memory. And when Thomas stabs a medical thing into himself, he turns out to be right. Thomas was working with the corporation that implemented this onto the boys. Also, Teresa was in on it too. But what makes the scene powerful is that one of the boys says that none of it matters. The past is not important. What matters is what they're going to do in the future. They plan to escape the maze, which eventually they do, only to discover that the truth is kind of shattering. It seems now the Earth is uninhabitable because of extreme sunlight and monsters that infect humans with a disease. Because of this, the government imposed a program to test a group of teens to be able to fight and survive and make it out of the maze. What makes this reveal really compelling is that it brings some interesting questions. Is the government wrong to erase the memories of boys to essentially get rid of their identity and not even remember their parents or loved ones? Or are they doing it to protect them from the truth that the earth is uninhabitable and their parents and their loved ones are dead, and the truth would crush them if they remembered them? These people. These are a lot of questions we don't get the answer to. I would argue these questions are ones we don't need the answers to. The movie doesn't really tell you if they were right or wrong in implementing this. It lets the audience decide for themselves. Usually these experiments would either be extremely unethical or extremely heroic, and the fuck-ups are usually from people who are using them wrong. But this movie doesn't really pick a side. Gully also stays a morally gray character right up until the fucking brutal ending. This shit hit me hard when it came up. But it does end on a relatively hopeful note. Getting into things that I don't care for, I thought it was kind of bullshit that Teresa stole Thomas's thunder when trying to inject a substance that might kill Albie. Why this doesn't work is because it robs Thomas of a character arc of being tougher, and that is really the only tough thing that Teresa does in the whole movie. So they might as well not have even bothered. On that note, the action scenes are not that good. There are two action scenes with the bugs. One is at night and the other is during the day at the part of the maze where that leads out to the in the 7th area. I don't know which one is better or worse. They have the boys use their weapons like spears, and the spears don't really do anything against the bugs. The one at night has some dark cinematography and weird editing that makes it hard to see what's going on. I don't know if it was because the boys were given shitty weapons or because of the fact that the bugs have been established as hard to kill. Either way, the action scenes are not really the strong points of this movie. As for the production values, the cinematography and editing are good, at least in other scenes. The sound and visual effects are competent, but do not stand out. The music starts out pretty forgettable, but becomes really good towards the end of the movie. Overall, The Maze Runner is a pretty decent movie. It has a story that has some genuinely compelling aspects and a decent cast of characters. I will admit the action scenes are pretty lackluster and the production values are pretty well done, but not really amazing. But overall, I found myself enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would. It is actually worth checking out. I give The Maze Runner 3 out of 5 stars with the title of worth watching. Anyway, I'm Spike Robot. If you like this video, you can subscribe to my channel, and feel free to support me on Patreon and follow me on Instagram. Support me on Patreon, you get exclusive updates on my next video, and if you follow me on Instagram, you can see all the pictures I took in Venice, Italy, so go check those out if you want. See you next time on other Freedom Jingos.